big bag, let me bang bang. Show me where your friends at, we can flip that. Let me put you on the game. 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 I'll show you where the red at, where the blue at. Show you where they flip that, where they bitch at. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game. Let me put you on the game right now.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So what?
All right, cool.
What is cap? What are you saying is cap?
Well, it's two things that he said towards the end of the video that I didn't disagree with. I'm also not gonna lie and say I was in for the whole entire thing because I kind of came in a little bit late. But the analogy that he made where he says it's like an NFL coach who never played in the league or wasn't good in the league trying to talk about basically how to be a great player or coaching the team. Most professional coaches in the NFL didn't play professional football, and the ones who did weren't good. There's very few Hall of Fame coaches. Like Michael Jordan, for example, he's a good owner, but he was a terrible executive. He was a terrible judge of talent, mainly because he judged everyone's talent against himself instead of just taking them for what they were and seeing what they were good at and formulating them within a team. So to say that someone can't give good relationship advice because they're not currently in a relationship or married, I don't think is necessarily true. And the analogy does more to prove that it's not true than to prove that it is.
So basically what you're saying is that people who are not in relationships can give good relationship advice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible. Just like people who, like I said, some of the best coaches in the NFL never played. Matt LaFleur went 13-3, 4 years straight with Green Bay. He was not a good football player. I don't even think he played in the NFL, to be honest with you.
So in your opinion, who would give better relationship advice? Somebody that hasn't been in a relationship or somebody that's been in one successfully?
It depends, because there's some people who know how to function well in a relationship, right? But they may have grown apart from someone. Let's say they had a 5-year relationship and they decide to go two different paths. So they come out here and they give relationship advice. It'd be easy to write that person off because they're single, but the only reason they're single is because the person they were with, they grew apart from. It doesn't mean that they were toxic, nor does it mean they don't know what they were talking about. Just like I said with the analogy with the coaches, just because he wasn't a good player doesn't mean he can't spot good talent and doesn't know how to utilize good talent or doesn't understand the concepts of the game of football. It just means he particularly might not have been athletic enough to play football, or it might have just been the wrong time for his skill set. So I think it's a fallacy to just say outright, oh, if you're not in a relationship, you can't give good relationship advice. I believe people in a relationship and single people can both give good relationship advice.
Bad analogy. I can agree with that, but I disagree that someone that's not in a successful relationship.
So I think it's a fallacy to just say outright, oh, if you're not in a relationship, you can't give good relationship advice. I believe people in a relationship and single people can both give good relationship advice.
Well, it may have been a bad analogy. I can agree with that, but I disagree that someone that's not in a successful relationship can give good relationship advice. I disagree.
I'm sorry if y'all hearing that in the background. I'm in the car, so I apologize for that.
It's all right.
But why do you disagree with that as far as like someone being single not being able to give good relationship advice?
Because experience is the best teacher.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% against. I'm not saying, I don't want to imply that I'm saying people in a relationship can't. Obviously, they can't give good advice too. I just think that it's untrue to say someone who's not in a relationship can't give good relationship advice. Like, what if somebody's widowed, for example?
What if somebody's what?
Like, what if somebody's widowed? What if their wife died? They technically would be single, but that doesn't mean that they don't know about relationships.
But that would mean that they were in a relationship that was successful. The only thing that happened was the person passed away. I don't think that's what Officer Tatum was implying. I think what he was trying to say was, why would you listen to a relationship guru who's giving relationship advice, but he's not currently in a successful relationship? That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, at its root value, it does. But like I said, it could be a situation where the person, male or female, was in a good relationship and things just happened. They just grew apart or something like that. So they're single at the moment, but they had a functioning, healthy, good relationship. So they know what it looks like and they know how to teach people how to find one, and they're just single at the moment. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't know what you're talking about just because they're single at the moment. I get what he's trying to imply. I just don't think that always fits the bill. Like, there's plenty of great women out here who are single just because they haven't ran into the right man. It doesn't necessarily mean like they're bad women or they don't know what they're talking about or they don't know what they're looking for. They just haven't ran into a real man. So it could be the same thing with a man. He just hasn't run into a real woman yet. But it doesn't mean he doesn't know how to have a functional relationship, nor does it mean he hasn't ever had one.
So let's not get caught up on the analogy so much. Let's get to the meat of it, which is who he's discussing. Do you think Fresh and Fit give good relationship advice?
Oh no, no. Like I said, I did come in late. That's why I admitted I didn't hear I didn't know who he was talking about. I just came in late and heard that part. So no, I do not. I'm not co-signing Fresh. I'm not a Fresh and Fit fan. Let me just say that. I can't see the chat, so if they roasted me because they think that I am not a Fresh and Fit fan.
Nah, they not roasting you. They not roasting you.
I'm not a Fresh and Fit fan.
Okay.
And the only other reason I said Cap, like I said, I'm not completely disagreeing with the dude, but the only other thing that I said Cap to was when he said, "Oh, man hits his highest peak when he's married or in a relationship." Now that can be true.
Yeah, I didn't.
But that could also work in reverse too, though, because you ever heard the Janaea Keel song where she said, "It's like you don't need no free time, that's you and me time." So depending on what type of woman you're in a relationship with, sometimes she could hold you back. Sometimes she could take your mind off of work. Sometimes she could drain you of all your energy. So it depends. If you're with the right woman, absolutely. But being with the wrong woman, some people in the wrong marriage, that can actually have the opposite effect.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that part. I didn't agree with that part that you're going to be more successful if you're married. That's not necessarily true. So I definitely didn't agree with that part.